So recently I've been asked, both in the comments and sometimes even in real life, how do I make my videos so cinematic even though I've just been shooting for only 6 to 9 months. So I'm pretty much a beginner filmmaker myself. And so I thought, hey, I could actually just make a video of the things I did to help other beginning filmmakers out and make things look a little bit like this. Hope you enjoyed that little cinematic visual. If you did, hit that like button. It helps me as a small YouTuber trying to grow. And if you're new here, welcome to a new era. We do filmmaking techniques and tips and things of that nature to help spur your own creativity through video. So if you're into that, consider subscribing because I'd love to have you. And the advice I'm gonna talk about today is a lot more actionable things versus like a switch in mentality. Well, there is definitely a little bit of a switch in mentality, but it is a lot more physical things that you can do and do effectively to help your filmmaking get to the next level more efficiently. So let's go. The first piece of advice I'd have for you is not to be afraid to invest. So there's like this whole thing in the camera community where there's like this dispute, basically what they talk about, does camera gear matter or does it not matter? And in my opinion, camera gear does not matter when it comes to your creative abilities, but it can matter when it comes to the gear you buy. And that can actually help affect the technical quality of your cinematic videos. So when you are looking into cameras and things, especially as a beginner filmmaker, make sure you do the research, because if you can afford and save up for a better camera that's gonna do the things that you want it to do at a high quality, it's only gonna help you. And it's also a good investment for years to come. You're not gonna buy something at least this expensive, especially in this niche, unless you're really passionate about filmmaking and you really want to take yourself to the next level when it comes to capturing video. And I'm not saying get expensive gear. What I'm saying is don't be cheap. You wanna make sure you get what you need so you actually can get what you have in mind, whatever your vision is. And for me, that's what I did. I actually suck at saving up money and I'm really good at spending it, but now because I have a goal to actually save up money to get something that I want, one, it's a lot easier to not go out and eat with friends when it's unnecessary, because I know I really want, for me, and in my case, the Sony a7S III, so I gotta save up $3,700. But it's gonna be a great investment, not an expense, you know what I'm saying? And because I'm making this investment, what's also happening is that I'm counting on it to make money back for me through freelance work, through YouTube videos, through whatever it does for me, and it's gonna basically just pay itself forward. So that's gonna be awesome, especially if you take video to the next level. And another thing to keep in mind, I actually had this conversation with a friend, is outside of your camera, other pieces of camera technology are actually pretty easy to learn and pick up. So gimbals, drones, and things of that nature are actually a lot easier on the learning curve than your actual camera. So don't be afraid to also save up alongside of like your typical lens and your camera for a drone, for a gimbal, because those things, one, are really easy to pick up and learn and add to your cinematic quality as a beginning filmmaker, but two, they're also just so much fun to have, and it just makes you look so much more professional. Even though you might not know how to use it completely, it'll just be there. And like I said, easy learning curve. Definitely invest in those kinds of things. Don't be afraid to. So now you've invested in camera gear, you've done the research, you know what you're gonna get, and you're gonna have great technical quality. Well, how do you actually improve the skills of your filmmaking, capturing video, right? And so the second step here is to shoot a lot, but not just shoot a lot, but shoot with purpose. You wanna shoot with purpose and a lot, because every time you go out, you wanna have a goal. For example, when I went out back in the day, as in like 6 months ago or so, and still even today, I would make sure I had one goal. For example, hyperlapses. I would try to get hyperlapses that day, or I'm shooting to edit a color grade of some nature, or even just get sound design by shooting the right type of footage that I want to have sound design for. You want to have that specific goal in mind every time you're out shooting, just so when you come back, you know what to work on, and you're gonna work on it. One, because hopefully you want to, and two, it's a skill set you're trying to develop. Now that you're shooting in mass and with purpose, what you want to realize is that you're not shooting just to learn skills. The way I look at it, to make it a lot more disciplined and a lot more fun, is that you're shooting also to continually go on an adventure. Every time I go out, I know it's an adventure. For example, the last video, we had to fight the ocean to get the B-roll sequence, and in other videos, you know, I'm attaching my iPhone 12 Pro to my drone and doing crazy stuff. So I'm learning new technical skills, but I'm also creating an adventure for myself where I gain experience with my camera gear and a multitude of pieces of camera gear while I'm at it. And I think one of the best parts of shooting in mass, especially as a beginner filmmaker, is the fact that in the future, when you're better, when you know how to edit, when you know how to develop your filmmaking style, you'll have all this footage from the past that you shot with purpose, and you'll be able to know how to bring out the full potential of that old footage right away, versus having to shoot a bunch of new things just to bring them out once again. So basically, you just have a gold mine waiting for you once you get better. The last piece of advice I have for you, which is also probably one of the most important skills that you can learn as a beginning filmmaker, is the fact that in editing, you should be able to reverse engineer whatever you see. And so what I mean by that is basically, if you see like a cool effect, a cool visual, a cool transition that you want to add to your own filmmaking arsenal, you're able to actually do that on your own without having to look up or follow a tutorial to create that type of whatever you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that's so important about reverse engineering is that if you can't recreate whatever effect or whatever visual that you saw without looking at a tutorial, you know exactly what you want to learn next in the editing department. And this is going to actually help you develop as a filmmaker immensely, because you can't fix everything in editing, but you sure as hell can adapt it and adjust it in a way to make it look cool in sequence with whatever else you've captured. And as you continue to reverse engineer more and more over time, you learn how to actually, in a sense, freestyle using those tools. So you end up developing and experimenting your own kinds of effects and visuals, which will also overall just help you develop your own style. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about a little bit of my videos. But yeah, you're gonna be able to basically just take yourself to the next level in your own way, because you're creating your own style, because you're able to use tools in the editing softwares in a way that no one else would. Now let me just reiterate the pieces of advice that I gave you. 1, don't be afraid to invest in camera gear. You can handle it. 2, shoot a lot, but shoot with purpose so you're constantly growing no matter what you do. And 3, make sure you develop your skill to reverse engineer, because that's gonna help you get better at understanding editing and filmmaking as a whole, but also your own style. I'll leave a playlist of tips and tricks and behind the scenes that you can check out to kind of actually show you how you can capture awesome cinematic stuff like right around in this tall area. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe, because you know we also do click, 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 cool dance things. But yeah, I will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.